Hi, friends. How are you? It is a great day. It is Tuesday, February 7th, and I am so excited. No, I am not in Antarctica, but it's the magic of your television slash internet slash computer slash wherever you are that I'm instantly transposed over to an incredible continent. I am so excited to talk all about Antarctica with you today, and you are going to get an absolutely extreme view of what you have to put on your bucket list if your bucket list is not including Antarctica already. Because I know a lot of you think it's cold. It is. I know a lot of you think that the term expedition might be a bit too much for you. But I promise you, at the end of this, you will understand everything that happens to do with our Hurtigruten Sail with Seth that is coming up here in January of 2024. If you have any questions whatsoever, please go ahead and put that comment here in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer that for you. But it is not just me today who is telling you all about Antarctica. No, it is not. We have a guest today here on this episode of Sail with Seth, and I want to bring her in, and this is Julia from Hurtigruten. Julia, how are you?
Hi, Seth. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And like you,
yes.
I am not in Antarctica.
No, it's amazing, right? What backgrounds do these days. Julia, thank you so much for being here. I really, truly can't thank you enough. I know that we had an amazing conversation talking about this expedition. You've just come back, so I want to hear all about it in your words and in your pictures, and we'll chat more about that here in just a moment. But behind you is the actual ship that we will be on in January of 2024, right?
Absolutely. It's one of our hybrid expedition ships, one of the first in the world. So it's super exciting. And it's a beautiful, beautiful ship, brand new, built in 2020. So this is the ship that you will be experiencing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's incredible. And Hurtigruten is all about sustainability, all about making sure that Antarctica is preserved for generations and generations to come. And we're going to get to the details here in just a moment on all of that. If there's one word, my friend, one word to describe, I don't even know if that's possible. What one word would you say really described your entire Antarctica experience?
Majestic. Everywhere you look, it is peaks of mountains. It's called the White Continent for a reason. And everywhere you look, you see glaciers, you see snow, you see mountain peaks. It's incredible. And then all of a sudden you see whales and you see penguins and you're like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to see. And it's like, you feel like you're on a different planet. But it's incredible. So the one word is majestic for sure.
Majestic. I love it. Vicky's joining us. Vicky's already booked. She says, I am ready. Stu and Mark booked, saying 11 more months to go. She can't wait about that. Ruth says, how I wish. But it's not all about wishing. It's all about making it a reality today. And Julia, let's talk much more about what we can expect here with Hurtigruten in Antarctica. I know that you have a presentation here because I want to get right into it and find out what we have to look forward to here on this highlights of Antarctica cruise that we're expected to go on here in January of 2024.
Absolutely. Well, just in case you're not familiar with who Hurtigruten is, I'll give you a little bit of background, and then we'll go into the wonderful itinerary that you will be going on with Sail with Seth. Again, that sustainable, we have been known, we are the world leader in sustainable adventure travel. And we actually got our start 130 years ago. But the biggest question I always get is, how do you say the name? So I love this slide because it is the phonetic spelling or phonetic saying of our name, Hurtigruten.
I love this.
And what Hurtigruten means is actually fast route. So Herta means fast, Gruten means route. And 130 years ago, we got our start delivering mail, supplies, and people up the Norwegian coast. So you can say, and then 3 years later, we got our start in the expedition realm. So we've been doing expedition for many, many years. We not only do Antarctica, we do many other parts of the world. But of course, we're going to focus on Antarctica today, of course. And then why expedition cruising? So a lot of people are wondering what's the difference between expedition and those big white ships that many people are used to cruising on. Well,
Right.
expedition cruising is expect the unexpected, and you're truly experiencing nature. So you're visiting very, very rarely visited places, places that you may not see humans at all. You will just see these incredible animals that you will have no other interaction with without going to certain destinations all over the world.
So, Julia, let me ask you this one. When we're talking about expeditions in general, when people hear expedition, immediately they think hiking, biking, running, marathoning, the whole thing, swimming across Antarctica. This is not what we're talking about, right?
Well, some of it will include, walking or even just climbing up of a hill, but no, it's not biking. It's not,
Okay.
it's not super, super high active. You can if you'd like to be, but it's
Right.
really not like that. And we'll
But this
dive
is something for everyone.
100%.
Great.
It is
Okay,
something
perfect.
for everyone of
Great.
all age levels. You do not have to be super fit to go on to one of these expeditions. It's an incredible experience, and I'll show you all about the landings and some of the itineraries, and it's for everybody.
Perfect.
But to go in a little bit more about who Hurtigruten is and why to go with Hurtigruten Expeditions, we were the founders of expedition cruising back in 1896, and all of our ships are purposed just for expeditions. So you'll see our landings of how you get into the zodiacs at sea level from the bottom of our ships. It's pretty incredible. And also sustainability. We've been talking about this just a little bit. So protecting the environment, it's very important to us to leave those incredible places better than when we left them. So where possible, we like to have beach cleanups. But in Antarctica, you won't have that because you will see there is not one piece of plastic found anywhere. It's such a pristine environment.
I love that. Yeah, it's great.
It's some of the cleanest water and air you will ever experience in your lifetime. It's incredible, incredible. But the sustainability, we have built the 2 first hybrid powered expedition ships in the world, and all of our other ships around the world are fueled with biogas fuel. So we definitely talk or walk the talk or talk the walk or whatever that saying is.
Right. You're not saying that you are sustainable just for fun. You really do mean, and you make that important. You make that an important part to make sure that all the guests know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
So why we're here today, the Great White Continent of Antarctica. And you will know why it's called the White Continent once you're down there. You are surrounded by glaciers and snow-capped mountains and icebergs, and it's just so beautiful. And one of my favorite trivia questions that I get many people on is, what is the largest desert in the world? And many people say the Sahara, or they'll name, different deserts around the world. And it's actually Antarctica. And it's the coldest, windiest, and highest, driest continent on Earth. So you can always get people with that little trivia question.
I love it.
So why Antarctica? Of course, you're going to be experiencing nature on nature's own terms. It's nature, so you don't know. You could have a whale come right up next to the ship or next to the Zodiac. You could have a leopard seal, trying to catch a penguin right in front of you. You do not know what's going to pop up. You'll just have incredible, incredible experiences, even just experiencing the ice scapes and the glaciers and all the different surroundings. Now, I just returned from Antarctica last month. These are some of my personal photos from the experience. The one where I was in my kayak, that iceberg doesn't even look real, but no. It was 100%. It was like a sculpture. It was just incredible.
Hey, and Julia, real quick, and I want to interrupt real quick, but I'm going to. Can you tell everyone what you took this on?
What? Thank you. And I forgot. Yeah. Many people say, oh my gosh, what kind of camera do you have? Well, this is my iPhone.
It's amazing. This is what I tell people. It's like camera phones, whether you have an iPhone or a Droid or whatever, they are stellar. They are stellar in what they have to offer. But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but I do wanted to point that out to you, that you could take these incredible pictures as well, just like Julia did, using her iPhone.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is a question that I get all the time. I mean, my dad is very much into photography and he's always like, I want to buy you an expensive camera. I want to buy you
Right,
this. And I said, I don't want that because that means I have to carry it. But
right,
for those
right.
but for those that enjoy that, that's incredible. And we do have a Canon rep on board that you can actually rent cameras from. They will help you with your cameras if you choose to bring a camera. They'll even help you with your iPhones or your cell phone cameras as well. So you'll have a place that you can rent equipment from on board.
Perfect.
Oh, and just on the photo that I took with my iPhone on the right-hand side, that was taken at 11:30 p.m.
Mm,
So I didn't get to experience the 24-hour sun, but it was 20 hours of sunlight during the day. It was pretty
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then just some of the icebergs and some of the sunsets. And again, the one on the left-hand side, that was taken at 10:30 or 11 at night. And then one of them was the sunset as well. So just like to experience, this is what you're going to see. And this was captured with my iPhone. Another stunning photo at night. Just everywhere you look, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see these snow-capped mountains, glaciers. It's just so beautiful.
Mhm.
So again, why Antarctica with Hurtigruten? We have been the polar pioneer for over 125 years. That sustainability and our ships are purposely built for these destinations. We have our expedition team of experts. So those are all the experts in terms of scientists and all the ologists that you could say, and of course that value-packed adventure. So we'll go into what that experience will be. That expedition team, like I said, so they're not only going to be driving you on the Zodiacs, but they're going to be on board for you to actually hear their lectures and to talk to at the dining halls or just having a drink or a coffee. They are the experts in the destination in terms of you'll be talking to, I'm not using their professional terms, but the people who specialize in birds or glaciers or whales or seals or just even some of the algae that you will be experiencing down there. They're all educated. On my ship, I had two people that actually lived in Antarctica and they
Mm,
gave accounts of their specific
mm.
experience while living down there. So, what's it like to experience 24 hours of sunlight,
Right.
3 months,
I mean,
4 months?
it's amazing that when they live down there and then they can talk about their specifics and their history of it is incredible. Real quick, I do want to ask you this question. The the photography help, right?
Yes.
The expedition team. So that's all included in this, right? So
Mhm.
that's the best part. And friends, if you think that this is like skyrocketing, crazy, pricey, wait until you see the pricing that Julia and her team have negotiated with us because it's amazing. I just want to let everyone know that. So I want to don't go away because you're thinking, oh, this is going to be $1 million. Hardly. And we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a moment. So, Julia, you can have your time back. I apologize.
No worries, no worries. I love it. I'm like, hey. So of course, meet the fleet. We have 3 ships that'll be in Antarctica, and I just want to point those out just in case you see one while you're in port, and you're like, oh, there's another Hurtigruten ship. So we do have 3 ships, but you will be going on one of those expedition hybrid powered ships, which is gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship.
Yeah, and our ship is the one in the left hand side, in the left hand
Yes,
corner, friends.
yes,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
Nansen.
Mm-hmm. So that we're going to go into a little bit about our staterooms and suites later, but I wanted to say that they're all modern Scandinavian design. It's really really comfortable. So most people think of expedition as you're roughing it. You're absolutely not roughing it on our ships. You will be very comfortable with all the creature comforts of home, and all of our staterooms on the ship that you will be on will be they will all be outside cabins, so there are no interior cabins. Everybody will have a minimum of a window, so don't worry about being in dark interior rooms or anything like that. Our culinary experience. So you'll have 3 different restaurants to choose from. All your meals will be included. Your house wine, beer, and soda, mineral water will be included in the restaurants during meal times. And It's all fantastic. So if you are used to paying gratuities, you can, but they're not expected. We're a European company, which tipping is not a normal custom. So that is all included in your stay. But of course, you think if people are going above and beyond for you, you're always welcome to, but it's not expected. Onboard amenities, and I will go into a little bit more about what this is. We focus on edutainment and not entertainment. So if you are looking for Broadway shows or casinos or anything like that, we may not be the best fit for you, because what we focus on is learning about the environment that you're going to be in, learning and talking to those experts. We even have a science center on board that has telescopes and bone samples and different samples of things from the destination that you will be experiencing. And all of those.
This is not the kind of trip that you're coming on to see the shows of nature, sure, but not the glitter and the this and the that. And you're not going to be having the casinos like you mentioned. But also, what I want to point out to you, there's no formal nights. This is an expedition. This is an Antarctica experience. You can come in however you want to be in a dining room, because you're in the setting of a science center. You're talking with your expeditionists, probably eating with the expedition. I mean, really trying to incorporate all that Antarctica has to offer, correct? There's no formal nights.
Absolutely. There's no formal nights. And we were going to get into that as well when we said what to pack. So you never have to worry about, I mean, hey, if you want to bring evening gowns, you're welcome to, but it's not expected, and you will stick out because many people, you know, exactly what I have on right now, you know, a nice, you know, just a nice pullover, or if you want to wear, you know, you can come as you are. If you come back from your landing and you just want to talk to everybody about, oh my gosh, did you see those penguins? How cute were they? Did you see those elephant seals? Like, everyone just comes in from the landing, some, you know, and you'll just go right to dinner. It's a very relaxed, very relaxed environment. Yeah. So the Explorer Bar and Lounge, you can come back and have a drink or a coffee and just look out some of the beautiful landscape, or if you're watching the sunset on there. And of course, our lecture rooms, we have those beautiful LED screens for you to look at all the videos or the pictures that, as the scientist or the expert is speaking. So that is our show. So you're going to be coming to the lecture room for our shows to learn about, in Antarctica's case, the glaciers and the whales. Now, one thing I want to point out is if you don't want to go to the lecture room and you just want to lay in your bed, you can just turn on your television and you can watch it from the beauty of your room. So that way you can just do whatever you want. You want to sit down and relax. You don't have to go to the lecture room to enjoy the lectures.
Great.
Norwegians love their saunas. So of course we have big, beautiful saunas that, and you can see those big floor to ceiling windows that you can look out at the landscape as you're in the sauna. And for those who love to go running, or to work out, we do have our fitness center, and we also have a running track on the outside. So if you did want to run around and look at the beautiful landscape as you run, we have that running track outside.
Great.
Yeah. So that onboard activities, of course, we have those lectures, the science center. People love the science center, and they love it a lot more than they expect to love it. So I do really, really like that. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the Citizen Science Program, but that's a really big deal. And it's a lot of fun because it gets people involved, not only during the trip, but you can also stay involved after the trip. So I won't go into much detail about the different apps and the different experiences that you can have, but the scientists will talk about, you know, taking pictures of the whale tail and uploading it. And if you wanted to find out where that whale is, it can send you notifications, you know, after your trip. So there are many different things like that, you know, anything from seals to clouds to many, many, many different things. So Citizen Science is a great program. Now, the expedition launch, and this is one thing that we get a lot of questions on, because you're like, well, how do I get into the Zodiac? You should have no apprehension whatsoever about this. The ship is stopped, and then you get called down to your mudroom, to the mudroom. So then you'll get your boots and you'll get your jackets and things on to get out, you know, come out onto the dock. And as you can see there, the side of the ship opens out to sea level. And then you have a stair that you can just go right into the zodiac. So somebody will take you from the arm and guide you into. It's a very, very simple process. Like I said, there's no, activity level, or you don't have to be in any sort of shape in order to get into our zodiacs. We make it a very simple process for you. So the landings and ice cruising, like I said, it's a water level access. We always try to make it as safe and as easy as possible for it. And all of our crafts are custom built to meet this need. Now, there are a few different landings that you will experience. So there will be wet landings. They can be polar landings. In this case, you won't do any dry landings because there are no docks in Antarctica. But the wet landings, they'll drive the Zodiac as close to the beach or on the beach or as close as possible. And they'll put a set of stairs, as you can see here. Actually, I have a video of what it's like to get in a Zodiac, but you can see here, they're taking people out one by one. And there are two people that are helping you, and you're walking down those stairs right onto the beach. So here's a video of how you would get back into. So you can see two people are helping you. Just swing your legs around and you get right into the Zodiac. So it's very, very, very simple process.
And all of the equipment, by the way, friends, you saw them with the water kind of splashing on their boots. That's all included. But Julia's going to get to that moment. I just wanted to let you know, because I know a lot of people might be watching and saying, okay, well, I don't have boots like that. I don't got jackets like that. But Julia will let you know how you will get them and not costing anything extra.
Exactly. Yes, we will definitely get to that. So the polar landing will be the other type of landing that you will experience in Antarctica. So if there's no beach or shore that they can just pull the Zodiac onto, the expedition team will go out ahead of time and build stairs into the snow. So it's a very simple process. Instead of those metal stairs that we have on the Zodiacs, they'll just make stairs out of the snow. So it's a very, very easy process. Mm-hmm. You just get in the Zodiac, swing your legs over, and scoot on down to let the other people on as well. So the ice cruising. So another great way, not only doing the landings into going onto land, but taking the Zodiacs and going around. This is a really good view to see the seals or the whales or even the glaciers. And of course, safety is number one. So they are always weary of the calving. And there's just so many different beautiful scenery that you cannot see when you're on a ship. You actually need the Zodiacs in order to go in and explore. And I did say on my expedition, I had a once in a lifetime experience. I did see a leopard seal take a penguin. I'm not saying yay, but it is nature and it's incredible. It's just like going on safari and experiencing, the same type of thing with a lion. But you never know what you're going to see. It's pretty incredible. So the ice cruising. So when you're leaving your landing or when you're leaving one location, you'll see tons of experiences on the ship. So definitely stay outside or in your cabins or on your balconies as much as possible, because there's always something to look at. I do have a video, and I should have incorporated it. I could probably just send it to Seth, but I had penguins porpoising next to the ship with these big, huge glaciers and icebergs. It was just, I'm like, where am I? This is so amazing.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And I will tell you, and we'll talk much more about this as well here, and I don't want to give Julia's entire presentation away, but I do want to stress to you that if you have been on a larger cruise ship that has sailed by Antarctica and has not actually let you off of the big ship, and they can't, and we'll explain why here in a moment, but it's a totally different experience, right, Julia? So even though you might have been to Antarctica, you really haven't been unless you have been on one of these Zodiac expedition type of cruises.
Absolutely. And we'll get to size matters soon.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get to that. The ice shelves, you'll see tons of ice shelves in here. I did not take this picture with my iPhone. This is with a fancy camera, not mine, but I wanted to point out, this is just a typical scene of what you're going to see in Antarctica. Now, for all of you who love to swim in cold water, we do offer the polar plunge, and you will get a certificate.
I'm
This is
doing it.
my, it's awesome.
I am going to do this. I will
Yes.
polar plunge. I mean, how do you not go to Antarctica and do this polar plunge? I mean, we're talking about, cold water, like 32 degrees, maybe even less than that Fahrenheit. So it's going to be quite the experience, but it's amazing. It's all supervised, and they've got a doctor waiting for you in case something should happen. But it's supposed to take your breath away. I'll do it. I will do it. I mean, how cool. It's all about the certificate. It's all about the certificate.
Well, it's bragging rights, right? It's
yes,
the bragging
absolutely.
rights.
Absolutely.
So have your GoPro on your head when you jump in too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I love this one. Marianne, who is likely going to sign up here. She's like, easy. I'll watch. Marianne, you can take my photography. Okay. I'll pay you that. Look, Vicky also says the same thing. I too will watch. John, hopefully, John, you can go here. Polar plunge looks cool. Sue and Mark, they're going. This says, we'll be there in with you, Seth. I love it. And Aunt says that her polar plunge would be in a cocktail glass.
Well.
Also, yeah. Go.
No, I'm just saying that's so funny. So the thing is you think you will not go, but you're going to be in that environment and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to go. And I'm glad you brought up the whole polar plunge in your glass, because they do allow you to take, you're not allowed to take anything from Antarctica, but you can take ice out of the ocean and you can use that for your drinks. So when you see clear ice, you can take that and just, use that for your cocktails later, which is kind of cool.
All right. Perfect. Wayne says if he goes, he dives in with me. I love it. Seth and Wayne. That'll be a good one. And then Robert says he's with me there. So, okay, we got our polar plungers. We'll add more to the mix, Julia. We'll add more to the mix.
I love it. And I want to see all of your certificates, because how many people can say that they've dove into Antarctic waters?
It's true. I love it. This is going to be really cool.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's an incredible experience. Now, so we have some optional activities as well for you to sign up if you'd like to do that. So of course the Zodiacs are all included in your amazing stay, but we do offer kayaking. Not everybody likes the kayak, but I will say my personal highlight was the kayaking. I loved. It's weather permitting, of course, and you can sign up, but it's very, very popular. We had penguins that went underneath our kayaks and they'd porpoise right next to us. And we had seals that were like about 5 feet away from us on, little ice landings. And it was just a really cool way of exploring Antarctica. And you can, go through different glaciers. Of course, it's all in a safe environment as well. Snowshoeing, of course, weather permitting. You just have to have snow, and they'll offer it on board if it is available at that time. Now, camping. This is probably the most popular. Everybody signs up.
Wait. Camping, like legit tent camping?
Legit camp tent. Like, this is the number one excursion that sells out right away. So I will say, if you want to do this, make sure you get your name in there, because there's only a limited amount of spaces for this, and it's 100% on the continent of Antarctica.
So you can sleep on Antarctica. So you have those bragging rights.
Correct.
Okay, here's the crazy thing. I'm all about jumping into frigid cold water, but camping? I mean, what do you wear? What do you wear?
So funny you should ask. So if you're a person who likes or who is cold easily, wear everything you could possibly wear and get on board. So you can see the person in the background. They have their parka on, they have their pants, they have everything. Your hat, you're going to wear all of that. And then you're going to go into your beautiful tent and you're going to get into your sleeping bag that is provided. So all the things, like your sleeping bag and your sleeping mat and the tent will be provided. But just make sure that you layer. You can bring a blanket.
This is crazy. Yeah. Okay. So I have a question. And I'm just going to ask it because I know a lot of people might be thinking it. and we're all friends. We're all friends. Um, what happens if you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? Like, what
Well,
do you do? Have to take off a million layers? I mean, I guess so.
well, yes, you're going to have to take off all your layers. So you have to keep that in mind as well. And if you don't want to dehydrate yourself, we do have arrangements, but it is not an ensuite tent. So you will,
Is that the bathroom?
yes. This question,
Oh
I
my
wanted to
word.
include this because we get this question quite a bit, but I wanted to give you the reality of camping in Antarctica. So, yes, it is not an ensuite, but we do, dig out a hole there for you, and we do have two toilets for you. And of course, if
Oh
you're in there,
my.
you have a
That is
flag. You have
nuts.
So
That's
that is
crazy.
your accommodation. Those are shared. Like I said, that's not an ensuite. Shared
Okay,
accommodations.
well, I'm going to stay on board and y'all have fun camping.
So yeah. Well, you have a choice, but I will say it is
No,
the number one activity that it sells
wow,
out like the
bonkers.
fastest.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll work my way. I'll jump in easy, but this one, you might have to twist my arm a little. We'll see.
Watch, I'm gonna be like, Seth, did you do it? And you're gonna be like, yep.
Yep, I did it.
Okay, like what we were talking about before is size matters. So are three different categories of ships.
Hold on one second, Julia. Can you go back to the toilet for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so we have a couple questions.
Sure.
One, Gail says, not a fan of sharing potties. Is this your own bathroom or do you have to share it with people?
No, you have to share it. Yep.
Oh, absolutely not. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, Marianne says, is it fair to assume that it's not going to get dark? No blackout curtains in the tent.
Correct. So some people bring sleeping masks.
Okay. All right. We move on.
Okay. Hey, we have to share all the realities, right? You were
No,
in
I
an
know. I know. It's true. And Dave comments, this is indeed real camping. It's true. It's true. Dave, you need to go. Talk Carol into going. Talk Carol into going. Okay. And Lynn, this is the whole topic. I just can't imagine paying to do that. Me neither, Lynn. And this is the best part for a second. Okay. Let me just say this. And this, we'll get back to the presentation here in a moment. No one's going to remember anything except the potty. I'm just saying. You stole the show, Julia.
Well,
Okay.
I just
All
want to
right.
be honest because you know what? When I first went camping in my life, I was shocked. It was a very different thing for me. But it's the number one excursion. I
Okay.
can tell you.
All right. I believe you.
So.
I believe you. I believe you. Okay. Continue on, my friend.
All right. So size matters, like I said. So the different category ships. So category 3 ships that hold over 500 guests, they do not get to land in Antarctica. So they're just sailing by the continent and all the islands and the peninsula, and they cannot land on anything. They are just see everything with the ship cruising. So just wanted to let you know. Then category 2 and category 1 ships, they get to go on landings. And that's very important. And that's due to the Antarctic Treaty. Just trying to keep the sustainability about the destination. And of course, just trying to keep that Antarctica pristine. So category 2, that's 500 guests or less, and that's what the Nansen is. And that way you'll be able to go on land and do all those landings during your trip, which is pretty incredible. Now, the safe distance from wildlife, this is also put in place from the Antarctic Treaty as well. We try to maintain about 15 feet away from all wildlife, but of course, it's nature. You can never control them. They have penguin highways, and you will see them. They will just walk right by you. They'll walk up to you. They'll look at you and just kind of be curious. It's really such an incredible experience. I could sit there and just watch penguins all day.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you look at this one picture, my friends, look at that would be you in the red jacket.
Yep.
I mean, landing on Antarctica and walking on Antarctica only a few of us, when we're talking about the entire globe, get to do something like this. And this is the thing, yes, the big ships are great, and yes, and it's wonderful. But when you're talking about going to Antarctica and just cruising by, I feel like you are really losing out the opportunity of doing something like this, and that it is so easily accessible to do it. Where Julia says, they carve the stairs out of the ice. They'll walk you. They'll hold your hand over the. I mean, so there's really it. I don't want to say accessible for every single person, but it is accessible for a majority of people. And I know when I was in the Falkland Islands and I went to Volunteer Point, I was this far away from the penguins, and they are magical. So I can't even imagine being in the snow and with them here. I mean, it's just words. But I had to say that about that picture, because look how close you are, and it's incredible.
It is really, really incredible. It's kind of surreal. Just talking about my own experience of, first, I was in a kayak before I even stepped on land. And I didn't even know what to look at, because there was so much beauty all over the place. I mean, you have these mountains, you have these glaciers, you have these icebergs, and then you have penguins, and you hear the penguins, and you can smell the penguins, and it's just incredible. And when I was there, the chicks were just being hatched. And I'm really jealous of when you guys will be going, because see that little cute furry thing up in the right-hand corner? You will be seeing seal pups, which I didn't get to see, but I would have loved to see the little seal pups. They're going to be all over the place, and you'll get to see chicks, and you're going to see the best of kind of everything during the time that you're going to be going with Seth. But it's just an incredible experience. And I know I keep saying that, but it's hard to describe unless you've been there, and pictures and videos and everything cannot capture it. You have to go for yourself in order to be able to say that. And to just, go off of what Seth was saying, less than 2% of the world's population can ever say that they will ever be in this area of the world. So you can be in that 2% of the population around the world that can say that they've been to Antarctica. So like I said, when you're going, it's going to be some of the warmest months in Antarctica. So you're going in their summer. So 30 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit, that's a nice warm temperature in Antarctica. I live in the Philadelphia area. So to me, that's nothing. That's a pretty warm winter day for me as well. But you'll see the glaciers calving and some of the rocky shores exposed. And then the longer days, like I said, and tons of penguin chicks and the whales feeding, the seal pups. You're going to come in like basically the best of everything. You're going to see pretty much everything there. So due to the Antarctic Treaty as well, biosecurity. So we want to keep Antarctica pristine and no seeds or grasses or anything foreign, as much as we can off the continent of Antarctica and its surrounding islands. So what we do to prevent that is we have you walk in disinfectant in your shoes that we provide, and I'm getting to that in the next slide. The shoes that we provide, you'll be walking in disinfectant and the boot wash and so forth, and the boot scrubber. And then also with all of your layers, we just ask that you vacuum the outer clothing layers. So if you're having brand new, when you're shopping for this, or if you already have layers, I always say wash your clothes before you go, just to eliminate a lot of that biosecurity breaching. And then in your, like in the Velcro and stuff, sometimes there'll be seeds or grasses or anything like that. So they really take this seriously because they want to keep Antarctica pristine and beautiful for more and more generations. Now, the question I get a lot is what to pack. And I'm an overpacker, so I can admit that I did bring a lot of things, but layering is key. But what we provide to you on board, and to make your trip a little bit easier and your suitcase a little lighter, we provide a water bottle, and there'll be tons of water stations all over the ship for you to refill the water bottle. And then we also provide the waterproof layer for you. So that red jacket is your waterproof layer. So when you're on the Zodiacs or if you're out on board, you can always put that, on. So we do provide those wet boots, or the wellies, or the mud boots, or whatever you want to say. what you saw in those videos. So that is required for the landing. So anytime you go on land, you have to wear those boots. And then, of course, we provide those walking sticks for you as well.
And real quick, Marianne, she says, do we get the jackets? And you get to keep those jackets, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. So you get to keep them even after the voyage.
Correct. You get to keep, that is your souvenir. So you get to keep that water bottle and that red jacket. So that's your take home. And the good thing is that it's not a big bulky jacket. So if you did overpack like I do, it's not going to take up a lot of room, or you can just wear it and be like, I just came back from Antarctica. So it's kind of cool. And on the side, there's a Velcro. So in the gift shop, they sell patches for the different ships or the different areas. So you can even put the patch right on the jacket right there. So that's pretty cool. Now, layering is key in these destinations. So like you said, it's a little bit warmer. So 30 to 37, it's not that cold, but if you're a person who does get cold, you can always put on more layers. But what I wore a lot was my merino wool layer. I had another thin shirt. I'd wear a vest like pictured there. And then I'd wear that black coat and then my waterproof layer. So that's basically what I wore. And I wore a waterproof or a merino wool layer on my legs, as well as waterproof pants. So waterproof pants are a 100% must. I definitely recommend, and you can buy them at a series of different stores. If you needed assistance, I'm happy to give you some suggestions. And I'd like to say they take the biosecurity very, very serious. So if you have any of those hats with puffs on it, definitely bring a beanie or a hat that doesn't have a puff, just in case you're not allowed to take that one on landings.
Right. So no pom-pom hats, kids.
Well, you can wear it on the ship. But
right. But not, yeah. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Okay, good to know.
And the gaiters, or they call them buffs, whatever you prefer, but the things that you can wear around your neck, that's really, really crucial just to keep you warm. But also, I cannot stress enough, sunscreen and protection for your face. I thought it was great with my 50 mineral sunscreen. My face and my nose and my lips were raw by the end of my trip.
Yeah, you don't think about it. I mean, you don't. And when you think about, you are on the white continent. So you think about that sun and it's summer reflecting off that white. And it's just like you go skiing or what have you. I mean, it is intense. So that's something. And Julia's going to come back. And when we have our own private Zoom for our guests who are going, and we do those private Zooms for all of the trips, Julia's going to come back, really get into all of it where it comes to the recommendations of what to buy and what to pack and all of that. So if you're missing all that, that's okay. Julia, you'll come back, right? For our private event? Okay, great. Perfect.
I'm going to see if I can come on your trip with you.
I want you to. I know. I want you to. I keep saying, yes, come with us.
I would love it. Honestly, Antarctica, I just love sharing this with everybody because honestly, it was my last continent and I want to go back 50 million times. I would.
Same. I mean, I've never been. I'm really excited. And this will be my last continent to visit. So, and actually being able to walk on the continent is exquisite. I love that. All right, Julia, thanks.
Yes. So just getting into a little bit about what's included again on this specific itinerary. So, of course, the flights in between Buenos Aires and Ushuaia. And I will say that these chartered flights from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia make your life so much easier that you don't even realize how much easier life is. I know people who have traveled down that from wherever in the United States down to Buenos Aires, and then they'd have to get their own way to the local airport. So you're always going to come from Easy E, and then you'd have to get to the local airport. And if you don't speak Spanish, or if you're not if you don't travel a lot, it's kind of confusing and it's kind of overwhelming because it's not easy to do. So the good thing when traveling with us is that you fly to EZE in Buenos Aires, and we have a chartered flight for you to get down to Ushuaia to take all of that headache away from you, which is really great. You'll have an overnight in Buenos Aires, so you get to experience the beautiful, they call it the Paris of South America. It's pretty incredible. And I definitely recommend doing pre and post if you can. But the transfers to and from the hotel in Buenos Aires and the airport before the expedition cruise, and you guys can read this. I don't need to go into all of this, but I forgot to say that our Wi-Fi is included on the ships. We were one of the first ships to be outfitted with Starlink. So our Wi-Fi is pretty spectacular. But of course, you're in Antarctica, so it's not going to be spectacular all the time, but we are outfitted with Starlink. So I wanted to mention that. That's one thing I forgot to say. And Seth will be sending out all of this as well, but I wanted to stress the importance of those charter flights as well as the Starlink Wi-Fi. And what's not included, I wanted to say, is your international flights to get to Buenos Aires, your travel insurance, which is mandatory in Antarctica, and then, of course, your spa treatments. So if you get a massage every day on board, sorry, you have to pay that out of pocket. I know, I'm like, I wish spa treatments. Oh, but one thing I forgot. So Seth and I were talking before this, and he was telling me about like all the amazing things that he has in store for you and all the goodies and all the extras. But I
don't tell him.
Well, I'm not going to. But
Okay.
I did. I'm not going to tell you, but I know that I wanted to just leak one exclusive that we do have for you when sailing with Seth. So what we decided to do is we are going to give a 90 euro onboard credit per person. So if you have 2 people in your cabin, that'll be 180 euro onboard credit for that cabin. So
just to let everyone know, and can you let everyone know why it's in euros?
Yes, because we're a Norwegian company, we deal with everything in euros. So that's why.
Perfect. So there's your prizes, everyone. So if you, or one of them, I should say, because you are watching this, and for those that already booked, you automatically get this. So you are going to receive a 90 euro onboard credit per person. Marianne says it doesn't seem like there's much you need OBC for. And what do you say to that, Julia?
Well, you could use it for the spa. You could use it for your cocktails. You could use it for, an excursion. If you wanted to go camping, put it towards your camping. And those
exactly.
The non-suite accommodations, the ensuite.
Right, exactly, absolutely. So 90 euro onboard credit per person. That's because you are watching this right now. And friends, if you are already booked, we will make sure to put that onto your account. Julia said it is great for everyone who is on here. So thank you for this. This is great.
Well, Seth's going to give you a lot of other things, but I wanted to, just give you that little tidbit because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's why I said I'm coming on this. I'm coming on this with you guys because I want.
I love it. Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun and great surprises, friends.
So like I said, we were going to get into more of the room accommodations because people are like, oh my gosh, do I have to rough it? Do I have bunk beds? Oh my gosh. No, you don't. You have beautiful, beautiful accommodations. So like I said, all of our accommodations are outside cabins. So our ocean view, which we call the polar outside, you get a big, beautiful window. You have the option of the veranda suite, or what we call the Arctic Superior. So that gives you a balcony and a little bit more of the seating room.
Can I ask you a question here real fast, Julia? So can you go back to the window?
Sure.
Okay, so that's your ocean view. And then go back to your balcony. So it's very similar room, but just has a balcony. The number one question I'm receiving is, do I need a balcony? It's Antarctica. How many times am I going to use that balcony? What what I say, just go for a window. But I mean, what is it? Like, I mean, do you need the veranda? I mean, and quote unquote need is a relative speaking term, but you know what I'm saying here when we're talking about verandas compared to ocean views.
So here's the thing. We have tons of beautiful viewing points around the ship. So you'll be able to go on the ship with all the decks and all the viewing decks and everything right there. And 50% of the rooms will have verandas or decks. So it's up to you. If you are the type of person that likes to get up the first thing in the morning and go out onto your deck, and you don't want to get dressed and you don't want to have to see anybody and you just want to experience it, or if you just want some alone time and you want to be on your balcony, you can absolutely do the balcony.
I love how Marianne just wrote, this comment here: early morning sunrise pictures from the balcony are fabulous on any trip. And I can't even, I mean, certainly not wrong.
And you know what? The beauty of going on your balcony is you don't have to get dressed to go out onto the outside deck. So I think that's the biggest thing, is privacy and just having your own viewing point. So that's what I think. I think some people are like, I don't care about getting up at 3 a.m. and putting on all my clothes and going up to the observation deck. And then some people are like, you know what? I like having the privacy and just walking right out as soon as I wake up. Or, I like to set up my tripod with my time lapse. So I like to do that, but sometimes I have to get dressed and then I have to go upstairs and, but if I have my own balcony, I can just set it up right there. So it depends. Everybody is very different, but you're all going to have the most amazing ship experience, regardless of whatever cabin you choose.
Got it.
And if you really are all about being in your room and you want to have ultimate comfort, we have suites that have your own fireplace. You have your own jacuzzi on the deck. You have tons of seats. You could have parties in your own suites if you wanted to go with an expedition suite. So everybody is completely different. And some of our expedition suites are just shocking to a lot of people because they're like, this is an expedition suite. And I'm like, absolutely. It's beautiful. You have full bathtubs and double sinks and fireplaces. And yeah, I definitely recommend, if you're a suite person, definitely go for a suite. But you know what? You're all going to be in Antarctica. It's an incredible, incredible experience. Now, pricing information, I know Seth will go into more detail about this, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what those ocean view, the balcony staterooms, and the suites start at. Very, very, very incredible pricing. I know some of my competitors, you can't even get close to a suite for two people, less than $50,000.
So this is what I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to talk about the pricing here in just a moment, but let's just bring this back here. There is a major, what I do is I want to make sure that great value for guests. I want to make sure that the brand is something that is going to, be around. I want to think about all of these things, but here's my question for you. Why are you guys so reasonable compared to others? And you have brand new ships, you got hybrid power, I mean, everything in general. Why is it that you have these incredible prices for the product that you deliver?
Because we've been in the game for 125 years, over 125 years. We have purposely built our ships. Our branding, our company has been in these polar regions for like many, many decades. I can't say hundreds of years, but over 125 years. Yeah. This is what we're known for, the polar regions, but we go all over the world, and we can provide an amazing product to consumers. And we're not big in the American market. We're newer to the American market. We've only been in the American market maybe 7 or 8 years. So a lot of people are like, who are you? We've never heard of you. No, we've been in this game longer than anybody. And that's why we can provide this incredible experience for you at an affordable price.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Go ahead.
It's not unattainable. People always say, oh, I can't go to Antarctica. It's unattainable. No, it's absolutely not.
Right.
And you're going in January. You have time. So it's only a
Right.
little bit,
And it is the prime time to go. That's the thing that
Mhm.
I get so excited all about. But let's bring back in the pricing because I do want to show you here what exactly we're talking about. Now, this is everything included, friends, your taxes, your fees, the cons, everything that is included here in this price. For the double occupancy, it runs about 9,800 per person. But this is the thing that I advocate for. And friends, you know that we have been together a while, and you know that I advocate for my single supplements. I know that that is a really hard thing to get, and I have worked tirelessly to get you an incredible rate when it comes to single occupancy. With that said, when you look at that price, that is everything with the exception of your international flight to South America. And we will work on that here when airfare becomes public. I would say about a month and a half from now. And it's not as expensive as you might think because we'll be working with our friends at Hurtigruten who, in general, have some decent deals. And, this is a great opportunity to research your miles and to see what you would have available into getting to South America. But when you look at these rates, single occupancy, 13,613, that's for an ocean view. And then the balcony goes up to 16,589, and then your suite. Now, the double occupancy price, it's for an ocean view, and then you make your way up to a balcony, and then you make your way up to a suite. So again, we do want to stress to you that these prices are not guaranteed until deposited, but I also want to let you know that these prices are not going to be sticking around for a long time. And the reason is because this ship will fill up. So I want you to take advantage of these amazing prices that you, Julia, and the rest of the team have put together for us. Because really, truly, when you look at everything and what you just said is included, walking on Antarctica is pretty incredible. I know Wayne had said, the airfare's next. However, there are deals to South America, and we will find you those deals. We will find you those deals to South America. It's not as pricey as you think, so we're going to do this. And Judy's saying, wow. I mean, really and truly, for the benefits and for what you get for Antarctica, it truly is a great, great, great price.
It really is. And I will say, my competitors, you will not touch a entry level room for a couple less than 50,000. So per person, if for double occupancy, will start at 24 or 25,000, and that does not include airfare. So they're brand new in the Antarctic game, but they're, it's just some of my competitors are just, twice and three times the cost. Mm-hmm. We are able to fill these ships. We're very, very popular all over the world. So you would not only be with Americans, but you'll be with Europeans as well, because we've been in Europe for 130 years. So it's pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. But yes, it's an incredible, incredible experience.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to go over a little bit more about the important dates because, like Seth said, these prices we're only holding these cabins for a certain amount of time, as well as the price, because we do need to release the space, if it for a certain time, because people do want it. Mm-hmm. So we have
Julia is holding so many rooms for me and for you. So that's the thing that we need to work on this. But another surprise, you get your onboard credit, and another surprise, Julia, why don't you talk about this one here, that if you book, so you have a few weeks to decide if this is what you want to do.
Absolutely. So you can look at flight prices and things, and to Seth's point, flight prices
look at this one.
Oh, sorry, you froze there for a second, but flight prices are not bad at all. I just booked a ticket to Greece for $1,800, and I have to drive up to JFK to get that. Mm-hmm. If I flew out of Philadelphia, it would have been $3,000. I will tell you, I paid way less than that to get to South America. Mm-hmm. I paid way less than $1,100 for my ticket from Philadelphia to get down to South America. It was not expensive at all. I mean, I upgraded mine, so that's why it was but it's not. Europe right now is just
Right.
Amazingly. But the important dates are $125 off your trip. We're giving you a few weeks to think about this, and we wanted to shave some off of that trip as well. So that is due on March 3rd.
And it's $125 per person.
Correct.
$125 off per person. So you factor in 125, then you factor in the 90 onboard credit. And again, I want to let everyone know, yes, it's a little tiny nugget. However, it's more money in your pocket. So why not? I mean, do 125, do whatever. It is really good. Now, Marianne is asking this, is the deposit refundable?
It's refundable up to a certain
right.
date.
So do know, and we'll get to the details on all of that. And once you make a booking, we'll talk much more about that. But yes, your deposit is refundable until a certain date. And there are specific, so I don't want to make it generic here, but Marianne will talk more about that. But yes, the deposit is refundable here when we do that. Your deposit is the 20% for each of your cabins, because they do want, they fill their ships and they want to make sure that you're serious about going. And also the information that we need, the names as it appears on your passport, your date of birth, your cabin category. And if you are interested in this, you just email me. Go to sailwithseth@gmail.com. Again, sailwithseth@gmail.com. That's where you will send me a note and say, hey, I'm interested. Let me know, and I will call you. I will write you back. Whatever you want, I will walk you through the process. And you want to make sure that you are going to take full advantage of this opportunity, because these don't come around very often. And we are very, very, very fortunate to work with Julia and her team in making these happen. So again, more information is at sailwithseth.com, but sailwithseth@gmail.com is where you're going to want to go to make sure you send me information if you are interested here in this trip, because that is going to be the key factor there, Julia.
Absolutely. And I think that you guys will have an amazing time, and I think we would all have fun because I'm coming with all of you. So I will be getting my cabin.
Yeah. I know. I want you to. I think it's going to be great. The questions, I want you to repeat this. And I know you mentioned this earlier, and just in case someone is joining us a little later, this is for most of us. This is not something that you are looking at, that you need to be fit, that you need to be a hiker, that you need to be a this, that you need to be a that. This is truly for everyone out there.
Yes. It really is. I just want to stress that you don't have to be extremely fit. You don't have to be a mountaineer. You don't have to be a kayaker. You can be any age, and you can go on these trips and experience all that Antarctica has to offer. You can go in the Zodiacs. If you choose not to go and you want to stay on the ship and just view from a beautiful deck and go into, I didn't even talk about the hot tubs and the infinity pool and all of that. If you just want to experience the ship but be surrounded by beautiful glaciers, you're still going to see penguins and whales. We make this as safe and as easy as possible for all age groups.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, really and truly what it's all about. Your safety, and the environment, really. The safety and your environment and everything is what Hurtigruten is all about. So keep on asking those questions, friends. Put them in the comment section, and Julia is here to answer those. So Barry says, so even old.
Absolutely. I was with people. I think I had somebody on my my journey that was like 87 or 88. And age is nothing but a number. So
that's
it's all
right.
How you
that's
feel.
right. I love how Barry says, so even old. Barry, you're not old. Lynn is asking, and this is a really good question. In the worst case scenario, how rough can crossing the Drake Passage be? Because this is a really legit thing, and people are nervous about it. And the Drake Passage is that body of water between South America and Antarctica. So, Julia, why don't you talk about that and your experience there in the Drake Passage?
So I had the Drake Lake. So there's something called the Drake Shake and the Drake Lake. Both ways, I was pretty lucky, I guess you could say. I had the Drake Lake. I had probably only, I don't know, 9 or 10 foot swells on the way to Antarctica. And on the way back, it was very, very, very calm. So you never know. I'm hearing a lot of people during this season with mixed reviews. So it can be, if you're motion sickness or if you get seasickness, definitely have your pills or your patches or your ginger, your ginger chews just in case. But I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything for it. Some people had the patches, some people had them on, but it's just depends on your body. And yeah, you don't know. It's nature. You don't know. And how bad can it be? I don't know what to tell you because I'm, I don't know what to predict for you, but both ways, it was easy for me. It was like a lake both ways. So I can't complain.
Carol is asking how many days is the cruise, and it's a 12-day expedition. Yeah. So you have your couple days of the Drake, you get there, you have numerous days of landings, and then you make your way back through the Drake and over to Ushuaia. We have added, there are some things that you can do, meaning that you can add things through Hurtigruten if you want in Buenos Aires, so on and so forth. So there's some add-ons that we'll talk more about, but pretty much it is a 12-night expedition. So if you do have a couple of weeks, it'll work out perfectly when you have to get to South America and then back home from South America. Rebecca has a great question here, and it's good to see you, my friend. How many expeditions do you do per day? And is the red jacket more of a windbreaker or is it warm and lined?
So the expeditions per day, it depends. So it all depends on the weather, to be honest. But we call them landings per se. So they'll do sometimes a landing, sometimes a Zodiac cruise, sometimes both. So it's really all weather depending. We can't be like, we guarantee this, because if seas are rough or if, the weather is just rough, they always, I will say, the expedition team, they plan for everything. So they have a plan A, they have a plan B, and they have a plan C. So they will always do it. But weather permitting, they always try to do a minimum of one landing per day. And then, of course, the Zodiac cruise or something. So, and regarding the red jacket, it's more of a windbreaker, but it's a waterproof layer. So that's why I said it's important to layer underneath, to have like a puff jacket or a vest or just layers underneath that red jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing for sure. Sue and Mark, I like what they said. Sue and Mark are booked. They took the front of the ship for the motion. They took the first stateroom there. And I'm like, are you sure you want that? But here's another thing that I want to let everyone know is that when you book now, the rooms that we're holding are prime midship rooms. So those rooms are not going to be there very often. And if you want the motion, then you want the front or the aft. But again, the midship rooms are the most desirable, and we have those. We have those available. So that's always a good thing. Marianne is asking, are those landings included in the price?
Yes, absolutely. And just to talk about the motion of the ship, we have stabilizers as well. So of course they bring out the stabilizers. I remember when we were in the Drake, we slowed down and I was like, why are we slowing down? And it was just because they were putting the stabilizers out. So they have all of that. It's all built in. And you have to realize these expedition ships have been through that Drake Passage hundreds of times. So these are ships that were built to withstand any type of experience that you will have in the Drake Passage. These are amazing, sturdy ships. But all those landings are included. Yes.
Got it. And Carol is asking how windy. And, this is really hard because I will tell you, as a meteorologist and my meteorological background, it's really going to be dependent on one voyage to another. You can never say, for the most part, it is a windy continent, but you're not going to be blown off the continent. But there are times where a weather system will come through and it might be a bit more on the rough side, or it might be more on the on the windy side, or on the snowier side. So it really just depends. Or you can get not one trace of snow and have sunshine all the time. So it's really, really hard to pinpoint. But it's like you said, Julia, you pack in layers and you pack for everything.
Mhm.
You pack for everything. So, Kara, really hard to say in general, but yeah, that's it's a good question though, and it's certainly worth revisiting. Julia, anything else that you want to add? Because we've been here more than an hour, and I know that you have a lot happening with your team and putting together all of this kind of fun stuff. But anything else that you want to add before we leave here today?
No, I just think that everybody definitely Antarctica should be on your list, and it should definitely visit the continent. It'll change your life, and I'm not trying to be cliche. It's just such an incredible experience. If I could spend 3 months down there, I would. It's just a no experience. You feel like you're on a different planet. And how many places around the world can you say that you could have the same experience? I mean, this is one of the only places where you can experience these animals. You can't see the gentoos and the adelies and the chinstrap penguins. Like, you can't see these anywhere else around the world. It's just an incredible experience. And
yeah, it really is. Mm-hmm. It really sounds amazing. So for the next 40 seconds, friends, I want you to watch this video and I want you to experience for yourself. And then we'll give you one more round to let you know how you can go ahead and join us here and all of the extras that we are giving away. So 40 seconds, you'll experience Hurtigruten's Antarctica. And here's how you do it. sailwithseth@gmail.com. Again, sailwithseth@gmail.com. Just let me know. That's not, saying I'm definitely in. That's not guaranteeing anything. I just want to make sure that you are on the list, that you are booked, and that you are ready to go, because the space is not going to be around. The extra promotions will not be around. Right now, Julie and her team are giving you $125 off per person if you book. And then not only that, but you're also getting the €90 onboard credit per person, plus all of the extras that we'll be throwing in here as your Sail with Seth adventure continues, because there are going to be a lot of extras that are going to be thrown in there. And I know Julia will have her team looking after us, because we're going to be VIPs, as we are all VIPs here on Hurtigruten. But Julia, thank you so much for all your time and for everything that you're bringing to the table. One last thing. If someone is watching and they're saying, this is way too cold for me. This is way too cold for me. What do you say to them?
It's not. It's 30 to 37 degrees and you're at the height of their summer. You know what? Get a warm jacket and go. It is incredible. And you know what? You don't even have to go outside. Our observation decks are inside as well. So if you don't want to be on the outside, we have our indoor, and you can just stay in that lounge with a cup of coffee. So to keep you warm, you're good.
I love that. Yeah.
Or sit in the sauna. Sit in the sauna.
Yeah, there you go. You can always do that too as well. Again, my friends, all you have to do is head on over to my email, sailwithseth@gmail.com. We would love you to be a part of this group. Thank you, Julia. Thank you to the entire Hurtigruten team for making this such an experience and for getting us some amazing, amazing pricing. Because, and I'm not just saying this, I have looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. And especially for my solos, I have a loss for words, because it is so accessible. And that's what I love about this product. And I love about your team for making this happen. So Julia, thank you on behalf of all of us here watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And good. I'll see you all next year in January.
All right. And before that, you will be joining us for our Zoom get-togethers. You'll kind of give us some more insider tips and maybe some more surprises along the way.
Absolutely. And I'll share more of my personal photos and experiences as well, for sure.
I love that. I love that. All right, Julia, thank you again. So, so, so great to have you here. And my friends, I know that you are, thanking her as well. So there you go. There's Norman. Thank you. Lynn saying thank you. Carol Beth saying thank you. Oh, Pete, by the way, is just outside Philly. So you got something going on there. Yes.
Hey, Pete.
Nancy, well done, you too. Anne is saying thank you. There is Frisbee. So, yeah, that is great. Oh, one last question that Carol has. Are you guaranteed a landing?
Yes.
You're guaranteed landings. It's
weather
just
permitting.
Weather permitting. Yes.
Absolutely.
But out of everything, you're going to have landing. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You will have landings. Yeah. That is great. Julia, thanks again. Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Can't wait to chat with you more. All right. Bye. So that was Julia. And again, everyone from Hurtigruten has been amazing to deal with. And I know that they are going to show you Antarctica like you have never seen before. My friends, also, if you have been on a bigger ship and you've just sailed by Antarctica and you haven't stepped foot on Antarctica, this is the time that you need to go on this, because you're not only with me, I make sure that no hiccups arise on our entire trip, but I also make sure that you are going to be well taken care of. And that's the benefit of cruising with me. Again, sailwithseth@gmail.com, sailwithseth@gmail.com. And I really do hope to see you in January of next year on board Hurtigruten, and book now for, again, the extras that Julia is giving us, the $125, the €90 onboard credit, as well as the single supplement rates, because I advocate for my single supplement friends. I know that you want to be heard. I'm trying to make a difference. And the single solos are bonkers. So again, I'll throw out my email address one more time for you friends. Again, sailwithseth@gmail.com, or you can get more information at sailwithseth.com. So again, have a great rest of your day, friends. Thank you for making me a part of your afternoon or evening, depending on where you're watching from. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care. And again, sailwithseth@gmail.com. See you in January in Antarctica.